Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Story of Me and You. Tonight, we embark on a journey that echoes within all of us, a search for something lost, something deeply missed, yet forever etched in the fabric of our being. It's a story not just about me, but about the profound connections that shape who we are, and the silent yearnings that guide us through life's labyrinth. For as long as I can remember, a singular image has haunted my dreams, a vast, swirling nebula painted with hues of emerald and sapphire. At its heart, a shimmering eye. Not just any eye, mind you, but one that seemed to gaze back at me, filled with an ancient wisdom and a haunting familiarity. It was more than a dream. It was a visceral memory, though of what I could never grasp. This ethereal vision often left me breathless, stirring a longing so intense it felt like a physical ache in my chest. I'd wake up, heart pounding, utterly convinced that somewhere, out there, this Sauron's eye truly existed, holding a secret key to my own hidden past. Growing up in a quiet suburban town, far removed from the vast, star-dusted plains of astronomical observatories, my obsession might have seemed peculiar. My peers were captivated by video games and pop culture, while I spent countless hours poring over astronomy books, devouring articles about distant galaxies and the mysteries of the cosmos. Every discovery, every new image from the Hubble Telescope sent shivers down my spine, fueling a desperate hope that one day my celestial vision would materialize on a research paper or a grainy photograph. My parents, bless their hearts, were always supportive, though perhaps a little bewildered by my singular focus. They encouraged my curiosity, buying me star charts and a small entry-level telescope, through which I'd spend frigid nights trying to pierce the veil of light pollution, straining to see what my soul already knew. The world often felt mundane, a dull hum compared to the vibrant whispers of my dreams. I longed for something more, something grander, something that would explain the inexplicable pull I felt toward that distant cosmic eye. It was an unspoken promise, a whisper from the universe itself, urging me to seek, to find, to remember. This yearning wasn't just a fleeting interest. It was the very essence of my being, the constant drumbeat beneath every thought, every aspiration. I lived with a quiet urgency, knowing that my path, though unclear, was inextricably linked to that shimmering eye, a beacon calling me home. Wherever home truly was in the vast, bewildering expanse of the cosmos. Every night, before sleep claimed me, I'd close my eyes and let the image of Sauron's eye wash over me. A silent prayer, a desperate plea to the universe to reveal its secrets, to guide me back to what I instinctively knew was mine. The year 2004 dawned like any other, yet for me, it held an almost imperceptible hum of anticipation. I was deep into my college years, pursuing a degree in astrophysics, a path that felt less like a choice and more like an inevitable pull. My dorm room was a microcosm of my mind. Stacks of textbooks mingled with dog-eared science fiction novels, and the wall above my desk was a constellation of printouts, stunning images from space, each one a whispered promise of discovery. It was here, amidst the quiet chaos of my academic life, that the universe finally whispered back. I remember that morning with crystalline clarity. The scent of stale coffee still lingered in the air, and the early campus chatter filtered faintly through my window. I was scrolling through the latest astronomical news feeds, a daily ritual, when a headline snagged my breath. Hubble discovers zombie planet in Sauron's Eye Nebula. My fingers froze on the mouse. Sauron's Eye Nebula. The words hit me with the force of a physical blow, a sudden, blinding recognition. This wasn't just a catchy name, it was my name, the very phrase that had echoed in my dreams for as long as I could remember. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the sudden, overwhelming reality. The accompanying image, though grainy, was unmistakable. A vast, swirling cloud of gas and dust, painted with the very emerald and sapphire hues that had permeated my nightly visions. And, at its heart, a bright, distinct point of light, Fomalhaut b, the article called it. A planet, or so they thought, glowing with an inexplicable intensity. Tears welled in my eyes, blurring the text, a strange mix of profound relief and dizzying disbelief washing over me. After all these years, the abstract yearning, the inexplicable pull, had finally found its anchor in tangible reality. It was as if a missing piece of my soul had suddenly clicked into place, resonating with a truth I had always, inexplicably, known. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough, it was my breakthrough, a validation of every solitary night spent gazing at the stars, every whispered prayer, every unshakable belief. The article went on to describe Fomalhaut b's perplexing brightness and visible light, despite its vast distance, 25 light years away. Extremely bright, clearly photographed by Hubble. The words jumped out at me, mirroring the very quality that had made the eye in my dreams so vivid. It was a contradiction, a scientific anomaly, and yet, for me, it was absolute, undeniable proof. My dreams weren't just figments of my imagination, they were echoes of a distant, profound truth. The world, which had often felt so dull and confining, suddenly exploded with possibility, imbued with a magic I had always suspected lay just beneath its surface. The universe wasn't just out there, it was calling to me, confirming that I was not alone in my silent quest, and that some mysteries are meant to be found. In that moment, a quiet resolve settled within me. My life's purpose, once a vague whisper, was now a clear, resonant call. I had to learn everything about Fomalhaut B. I had to understand its story, because in some profound way, it was undeniably intertwined with my own. The immediate aftermath of that 2004 discovery was a whirlwind. My academic focus, once broad, narrowed with laser precision onto Fomalhaut B. I devoured every scientific paper, every astronomical observation, every speculative article about this baffling celestial body. My professors, though accustomed to my intense curiosity, were slightly taken aback by the singular, almost feverish dedication I now exhibited. I spent countless nights in the university observatory, not just observing, but meticulously analyzing data, poring over archived Hubble images, desperate to find anything that would shed more light on this glowing enigma. The pursuit wasn't just intellectual, it was deeply personal, an urgent quest to understand the cosmic connection that had defined my life. I remember one particularly long night, hunched over a flickering monitor, data streams scrolling endlessly. Dr. Eris Thorne, my astrophysics mentor, a man whose wisdom was as vast as the cosmos he studied, with kind eyes that crinkled at the corners when he smiled, walked in. He was a quiet, unassuming man, but his presence always felt like a grounding force. "Still at it, Alex?" he asked, his voice a gentle rumble. "You've got a fire in you for this one. Most students chase black holes, you're chasing phantoms." I looked up, my eyes bloodshot, a tired but determined smile on my face. "It's not a phantom, Dr. Thorne. It's real, I know it is." He merely nodded, a knowing glint in his eye. He didn't dismiss my intuition, a rare quality in a field so rooted in empirical evidence. "The data on Fomalhaut B is certainly intriguing," he mused, leaning against a telescope mount. "Its visibility in the optical spectrum, yet its perplexing lack of infrared signature. It breaks all the rules, Alex, but sometimes breaking the rules is how we rewrite the textbooks." His words, simple yet profound, fueled my resolve even further. He understood that sometimes the greatest discoveries lie just beyond the edge of current understanding. The scientific community was buzzing with theories. Some suggested it was a bona fide exoplanet, perhaps larger than Jupiter, emitting light in an unprecedented way. Others speculated it might be a temporary phenomenon, a recent cosmic collision. For me, it was more than just a scientific puzzle. It was a personal beacon. Every new theory, every debate in the journals felt like another piece of my own unfolding story. The years between 2004 and 2008 were a blur of intense study, research, and mounting anticipation. I presented my own nascent theories in seminars, often met with polite skepticism, but always with that underlying spark of excitement. My belief in Fomalhaut B as a genuine planetary body, somehow connected to my being, grew stronger with each passing day, even as the scientific consensus remained fluid and uncertain. This wasn't just about proving a scientific point, it was about validating an undeniable truth that resonated within the very core of my existence. My journey to find the eye had transformed into a relentless pursuit, driven by an unwavering faith in the inexplicable. Underscore, 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 underscore. The year 2008 arrived, bringing with it a mix of fervent hope and gnawing anxiety. My research, fueled by the conviction of Fomalhaut B's existence, was pushing the boundaries of what was currently known. The scientific community, though still divided, was eagerly anticipating new observations, especially from infrared telescopes. My own heart, however, felt a growing tremor. If Fomalhaut B truly was a planet, a body massive enough to reflect so much visible light, it should also emit a significant detectable infrared signature, the heat radiating from a world. This was the logical next step, the crucial piece of evidence that would definitively prove its planetary nature, and, in my heart, validate every single one of my lifelong dreams. I remember the day the news broke, It wasn't a grand announcement, but rather a slow, creeping realization through academic channels. Papers began to circulate, quiet murmurs turned into bewildered discussions. Researchers, myself included, had been utilizing sophisticated infrared telescopes, meticulously scanning the region around Fomalhaut. The results were devastatingly, bafflingly clear. Fomalhaut B was gone. My world, which had just begun to solidify around the certainty of that shimmering eye, suddenly fractured. I stared at the data, raw and unfiltered, the complete absence of any infrared radiation from the supposed planet. It was an impossible void. A body as large as Fomalhaut B, especially if it was a giant exoplanet, should have glowed like an ember in the infrared spectrum. But there was nothing, just emptiness where a vibrant world should have been. A cold dread seeped into my bones, chilling me to the core. Had I been wrong all along? Had my profound connection, my unwavering belief, been nothing more than a fantastical delusion? The thought was a bitter pill to swallow, tearing at the very fabric of my identity. I sought out Dr. Thorne, my hands trembling as I showed him the latest reports. His kind eyes, usually so full of gentle understanding, were now clouded with a professional perplexity I rarely saw. "It defies explanation, Alex," he conceded, his voice heavy. "A body of that size, if it were a planet, should be screaming in infrared. Its absence, it's unprecedented." We spent days, then weeks, collaborating with other teams, re-examining every parameter, double-checking every calibration. But the answer remained stubbornly, painfully the same. Fomalhaut B, the zombie planet that had shimmered so brightly in visible light, had seemingly vanished into thin air in the infrared. It was a cosmic vanishing act, leaving behind a profound scientific mystery, and, for me, a crushing wave of doubt. The eye that had guided me for so long now felt like a cruel illusion, its vibrant glow replaced by an echoing silence that threatened to consume my every hope. The universe, which had once called to me with such clarity, now seemed to mock my earnest pursuit, leaving me adrift in a sea of uncertainty. The silence of 2008 felt deafening, a stark contrast to the vibrant dreams that had once propelled me. The scientific community, frustrated by the vanishing act, began to quietly move on, turning their powerful instruments towards other cosmic puzzles. For me, however, Fomalhaut B remained a personal enigma, a wound that refused to heal. I continued my work, completing my doctorate, even taking on a postdoctoral position. But the deep-seated joy that once defined my astronomical pursuits had been dulled. It was like searching for a lost love you knew was out there, but had no way to reach. The constant ache of uncertainty was a heavy shroud over my once burning passion. Then, 4 years later, in 2012, a whisper began to circulate, a faint, hopeful ripple in the vast ocean of astrophysical data. New observational evidence, meticulously gathered and analyzed, suggested that Fomalhaut B was, in fact, still there. Not glowing brilliantly in infrared, no, the mystery of its heat signature remained unsolved, but sophisticated new imaging techniques, combined with re-evaluations of older data, seemed to confirm its physical presence as a large, distinct object orbiting Fomalhaut. It was a subtle, almost hesitant reemergence. Yet for those of us who had held onto a sliver of hope, it was nothing short of miraculous. I remember the exact moment I saw the new findings. I was in my small office, poring over a dusty tome, when an alert flashed across my screen. My hands, which had grown accustomed to the stillness of academic routine, suddenly trembled. The headline wasn't as dramatic as the first, but its implication hit me with far greater force. New evidence suggests Fomalhaut B is a large planetary body. My breath hitched. It was a lifeline thrown into the dark abyss of my doubt. My heart, which had felt encased in ice, began to thaw, a warmth spreading through my chest. The zombie planet nickname, once a playful jab by some colleagues, now took on a deeply poignant meaning. It wasn't just a scientific curiosity, it was a testament to resilience, a symbol of something believed lost, yet refusing to fully die. This new evidence, though not fully explaining Fomalhaut B's bizarre properties, offered a lifeline to my shattered conviction. It wasn't about infrared or visible light anymore, it was about its very existence. The universe, in its own enigmatic way, was confirming my lifelong intuition once more. The feeling was overwhelming. A surge of renewed purpose, a powerful current, pulling me back into the relentless pursuit. The pain of its apparent disappearance had been profound, but the joy of its resurgence, even in this ambiguous form, was exhilarating. My path, once obscured by doubt, now seemed illuminated again, albeit faintly. Fomalhaut B, my eye, was not just a scientific object. It was a cosmic metaphor for hope, for the enduring nature of truth, and for the profound, often inexplicable connections that bind us to the universe's greatest mysteries. I knew then, with every fiber of my being, that I wouldn't give up on its secrets. The resurrection of Fomalhaut B in 2012 ignited a fresh wave of excitement and renewed debate within the astrophysical community. No longer entirely dismissed, it was now a puzzle with tantalizing new clues. My own spirit, once dimmed by skepticism, blazed with an almost fierce determination. I felt validated, not just by the new data, but by the universe itself affirming the truth of my lifelong intuition. This was it. This was my chance to truly understand the I that had haunted my dreams. I plunged back into research with renewed vigor, collaborating with Dr. Thorne and other leading scientists who, like me, were captivated by Fomalhaut B's stubborn refusal to fit established models. We meticulously analyzed the new observations, focusing on the refined imaging techniques that had allowed its reappearance. The debate raged. If it wasn't screaming in infrared, why was it still so remarkably bright in visible light? The prevailing theories swung wildly. Some proposed it was a superjovian planet, perhaps still in the throes of formation, with a highly unusual atmospheric composition that allowed it to reflect light so intensely. Others suggested it might be a planet veiled by a transient, highly reflective dust cloud, or even a planet experiencing a unique type of ongoing low-energy collision. Each theory was a delicate tapestry woven with data and speculation, none fully satisfying the profound strangeness of Fomalhaut B. I remember late nights in the lab, the hum of computers, a lullaby, the smell of ozone, a comforting scent. We were pushing the boundaries of detection, trying to tease out any subtle nuance that would betray Fomalhaut B's true nature. Dr. Thorne, ever the stoic, would often simply watch me work, a quiet pride in his gaze. "You have a gift, Alex," he'd say, his voice softer than usual. "You see beyond the numbers, into the story they're trying to tell." His faith in me was a powerful anchor, especially as nagging questions persisted about Fomalhaut B's long-term stability and its bizarre light signature. Despite the renewed hope, an undercurrent of unease lingered for many, including myself. Why the sudden vanishing and equally sudden reappearance? Why defy all the rules? The zombie planet moniker, originally a playful label, began to feel eerily accurate, a reminder of its uncanny ability to defy scientific mortality. My intuition, once a clear guide, now wrestled with the perplexing data. It felt like standing at the edge of a vast, shimmering ocean, knowing a treasure lay beneath, but unsure if the light was truly coming from the treasure itself or merely a reflection on the shifting waves. The renewed research was exhilarating, a thrilling hunt for answers, but the more we learned, the more enigmatic Fomalhaut B became. It was a cosmic chameleon, ever-changing, ever-challenging. Yet, with every perplexing observation, my determination deepened. This wasn't just a scientific anomaly, it was a personal odyssey, and I was resolved to follow the light of that distant eye, no matter how fleeting or mysterious its glow might be. The feeling was a bittersweet dance between hope and apprehension, a testament to the fact that the most profound truths often reside in the most baffling of mysteries. The period between 2012 and 2014 was a roller coaster of intense observation and frustrating dead ends. Despite the renewed hope, Fomalhaut B continued to defy easy categorization. Its baffling behavior, bright invisible light, invisible in infrared, was a constant source of debate. My own efforts intensified, driven by an almost desperate need for a definitive answer. Every clear night, my team and I would direct instruments towards Fomalhaut, straining to capture any new data, any subtle shift that would unlock its secrets. The scientific papers on its reemergence became more cautious, filled with caveats and unanswered questions. The zombie planet had risen, but it was still a ghost, a shimmering optical illusion dancing on the edge of reality. Then, in 2014, the ghost finally dissolved. The news came in a quiet, almost resigned tone from the scientific community. A new study, meticulously detailed and rigorously reviewed, delivered the crushing blow. Fomalhaut B had vanished again. Not just from infrared, but now, even the powerful Hubble Space Telescope, which had first captured its fleeting glow a decade prior, could no longer find any trace of it. It was gone, completely. The impact of this final disappearance was profoundly different from the 2008 event. That first vanishing had been a shock, a challenge to my belief. This time, it was a profound sense of loss, a chilling finality. It felt like watching a cherished dream slowly fade into nothingness, leaving behind only the echo of what once was. I remember sitting in my office, the familiar hum of computers suddenly feeling hollow. Dr. Thorne came in, his face etched with a sadness that mirrored my own. He didn't need to say anything. The silence spoke volumes. The eye that had once been my guiding star, the cosmic mirror of my hidden past, had now closed forever. The idea that it was a temporary phenomenon, a celestial mirage, gained overwhelming traction. The prevailing theory, which emerged with heartbreaking clarity, suggested that Fomalhaut b was never a planet at all. Instead, it was theorized to be a gigantic cloud of icy debris, the result of a catastrophic collision between two large asteroids or protoplanets. This theory explained everything: the extreme brightness in visible light, fresh, highly reflective ice and dust-scattering starlight, and the complete lack of infrared emission, no solid, hot core. They posited that the collision occurred shortly before Hubble's 2004 detection, creating a dazzling but ephemeral spectacle that gradually dispersed over the next decade, disappearing entirely by 2014. It was a scientifically elegant explanation, brutally logical, and utterly devastating to my long-held belief. The universe, in its vast indifference, had presented a fleeting illusion, one that I, with all my heart, had desperately wished to be real. My purpose, once so vivid, now felt like a fragile construct built upon shifting sands. The cosmic eye had not only closed, but had revealed itself to be a figment, leaving me adrift in a silence far deeper than I could have ever imagined. The year 2020 brought with it a quiet, yet definitive end to the Fomalhaut b saga. The scientific consensus had solidified around the asteroid collision theory, explaining away the zombie planet's brief, dazzling existence. It was a logical, albeit heartbreaking, conclusion. I remember receiving the official announcement from the International Astronomical Union Fomalhaut b's designation was to be withdrawn. It was as if the universe itself was erasing the memory of a fleeting, beautiful lie. The planet I had chased for so long, the eye that had guided my dreams, was officially deemed to have never truly existed as a permanent celestial body. The news hit me with a profound sense of melancholy, a feeling of closure that was both necessary and deeply painful. It was the universe confirming, once and for all, that the light I had seen was not a beacon, but merely a cosmic mirage. Yet amidst this scientific finality, a strange sense of peace began to settle over me. The initial devastation had given way to acceptance. The pursuit of Fomalhaut b, even if it led to a non-discovery, had profoundly shaped my life. It had led me to astrophysics, to incredible mentors like Dr. Thorne, into a relentless passion for understanding the cosmos. The eye, in my dreams, though now understood as a temporary phenomenon, had served its purpose. It was a catalyst, a magnificent illusion that had opened my eyes to the vast, intricate beauty of the universe, and the endless pursuit of truth, however elusive. And then, a new beacon appeared on the horizon, not a mirage this time, but a promise of unprecedented clarity. The James Webb Space Telescope, just The news of its impending launch filled me with a fresh surge of excitement, a renewed sense of purpose that had been dulled by Fomalhaut b's ultimate disappearance. The Webb telescope, with its unparalleled infrared capabilities, was designed to see the universe in ways Hubble never could, to peer through dust clouds and uncover the faint heat signatures of truly distant exoplanets. The astronomical community, recognizing the enduring mystery of Fomalhaut's dusty ring, announced that the Webb telescope would prioritize observing the Fomalhaut system. The prospect of Webb's powerful gaze turning towards that familiar region filled me with an exhilarating blend of nostalgia and anticipation. While Fomalhaut b as a planet may no longer officially exist, the search for other planets within that same stellar system, perhaps truly hidden within its vast dust disk, continues. My personal odyssey, though seemingly concluded, had merely transformed. The I that had once defined my search may have proven to be an illusion, but the quest for understanding, for connection, and for the deeper truths of the cosmos burns brighter than ever. It's a testament to the human spirit's unwavering drive to explore, to question, and to find meaning even in the most baffling of cosmic phenomena. The story of Fomalhaut b may have ended, but the story of discovery and the story of us, reaching for the stars, will never truly cease.